What is up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of I'm one of your hosts, Danny.
I'm your other host, Irma.
Nice to meet you. What is up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode. It has been a week, girl.
One.
It's been a week.
Honestly, it's been a lot. It's been, little hiccups here and there, but we're here now. We're here with another episode like we promised, guys. We're going to be consistent. We are getting it through. We are getting it done. And we have another morning going on, too. So I've been loving these morning little shows.
Yeah, so everyone that is barely despertándose por la mañana, buenos días. Y para la gente que se está durmiendo ahorita, buenas noches.
I was about to be like, wake the fuck up, but I just got what you meant. I was like, oh, the other side is nighttime.
But yeah, you guys, it has been a really tough week. You guys know that we post very weekly. We have been doing the Rosario or the, what's it called? Ebenario?
Ebenario?
Algo así. Sorry, no sabo yo. We have been so busy trying to help Grandpa pass to heaven, and it has been really good. I actually have been enjoying them so much. I am not a really religious person, but I've never really listened to the Bible the way that I'm listening to it now. I feel like now that I'm older and I understand, it just kind of starting to understand what the Bible really is. You know what I mean?
That's really good, though. Personally, I'm not a religious person myself, but I will say, out of respect, I really enjoy going to these because I feel like it's a good way for myself to kind of grieve and kind of mourn and be like, all right, we're here for Grandpa. I don't have to be praying or being religious as long as I'm being respectful,
Yeah, and not only that, I feel like what's been helping a lot with the grieving process has been Alan's family has been with us every single
since
day.
the beginning.
It feels so good to have his family and get together and
bond, basically,
and
just kind of
mourn this loss that definitely hit the family so much. Sometimes wish I had La Familia de Alanized because the other side of the family were fucking mamones and shit like that. So it's so beautiful to see a family unite for something like this. It's truly beautiful that I'm included in all of this. But anyways, you guys, on a lighter note, one thing that we definitely wanted to talk about were the comments, because I feel like the comments were definitely a little spicy this week.
Yes, very extra toxic, I will say. So for the people in the comments, let's recap last week's episode.
If you guys don't know, we had talked a little bit about mourning and mourning our families, and also making sure that we give time to our families, and a little bit about boundaries. But a couple of things did stick out to a couple of you guys, and we kind of just wanted to jump right in and talk about it.
Yeah, give you guys our little response to it.
So the first comment is from Jacqueline EM 2022. At Danny, I understand you. I've been 4 years sober now, and at first it's difficult, but as you get older or have a realization, you make a decision. It's difficult for people or have people change around you, but as long as you make a decision that makes you happy, then I definitely understand where you're coming from. Sobriety, I feel like it's something that has been more and more in my mind, where I'm kind of starting to be at peace with it, and I'm okay with not drinking anymore. I still have a couple of bodies,
here and there, nothing wrong, but I feel like it's different, especially when you're going crazy and get hungover as fuck the next day, because that's where it's I feel like where it hits.
Yeah, I feel like that's where everyone wakes up and it's oh fuck, I'm not gonna drink again.
You could have a little alcoholic drink, but I feel like sobriety and just being sober does make a huge difference, with more clarity, less cloudiness up there, I guess you could say, and just, I don't know, I feel like you could just think more thoroughly.
So I'm low-key really down to be sober, but the question is when.
I'm the time's ticking.
No, literally, I'm girl, I'm gonna have my liver spell before I fucking be sober. Let's not think about that.
No, let's not
I'm
think about
having health complications.
Probably until 35, 40s.
But you never know.
I enjoy my wine when I'm old as fuck. What the fuck?
You know what? That's also something that I want to be sober for. I want to be sober now, so when I get older and I retire, I'm able to have a little wine every single day.
No, honestly, I give props to the mothers, honestly, because usually I've seen or heard that usually mothers, after they put their babies to sleep, they have like a little cup of wine. And before I wouldn't get it, because like before we wouldn't drink wine and I wouldn't drink wine like that. So I'm like, how do you get drunk with wine or like get a good buzz?
And then not only that, I'm like, wait, like, can I get drunk while I'm taking care of my baby? But then that's negligence.
No, that is not, no, dude, it's impossible.
You
can't do that.
Obviously, I'm not a parent.
No,
so like,
obviously. But I mean, it's different when we're all at parties.
Yeah.
No, but overall, guys, like, honestly, now I see why, you know, it's a good buzz that you get with wine.
Yeah.
So I want to be at that old age, same thing as you. You know, you'd get that little buzz going when you have wine. So,
but sobriety is something I've been thinking about lately. So let's see how this goes. The last time that I drank was for Father's Day. Like I said last time, I was just drinking to get over something, which is so bad, girl. I should not be doing that.
You're all using alcohol for your antidepressant.
Oh my God, girl. I shouldn't be doing that. Like that, I feel like that's the first step where you start like consuming alcohol.
Like when you're stressed,
to cover your
shot.
I'm not going through that path.
Let's not continue that. But of course, let's go on with the next comment. This is from @Leslie6184. Irma, you need to put yourself first sometimes. You're all caught up in Alan and Danny's lifestyle and you ain't being there for your family. Your mom probably needed you a lot when your parents passed, regardless of the relationship you had with them. But instead, you are here with Alan and Danny. It's good to be a great friend, but at the same time, put yourself first. No, and 100%. Like, honestly, even Alan and Danny do tell me, like, oh, girl, like, you should probably go with your family. You should go hang out with them or do this with them or, like, with Father's Day or with Mother's Day. And it's kind of like, I would want to, but I just feel so, like, out of place. I feel like I can't be fully there. But that's the thing where I need to get out of my comfort zone and actually do it, because at the end of the day, as we said it before, they're not going to be there for long. And at the end of the day, I'm going to regret it. So 100% Alan and Danny, like, do tell me, like, hey, like, you should probably go do this with them. You should probably make plans with them. But it's just like, I haven't really made that motive or that mood to actually make the effort to, like, want to do that, you know, especially right now with the whole, like, little shade situation with my mom. I'm just kind of like, ugh. At the end of the day, I know, I just felt like very, I don't know. It's just really weird to explain. It's hard to process that. I just feel weird. I don't know. I really don't know how to explain it, guys. Like, I just feel like I don't really have that great bond, that I don't feel comfortable, I guess, of wanting to go back, because I feel like I'm just being judged. But at the end of the day, that shouldn't matter because they're my family.
We have always told her, like, try to go build a relationship with her family. Even when her grandpa had passed away, we had told her, like, oh, friend, like, I'm so sorry for your loss. I'm sorry for your mom. Like, it was such a sad moment, you know, and Irma did cry, like, the first time when she heard of it. But then I don't know what was going on in Irma's head at the moment. She just didn't go home, and she ended up deciding to come to with us, and we had plans already to go out that night. And like, we were like, oh, friend, like, I understand that you're mourning, like, I'm so sorry, what do you want to do? And she's like, I don't want to do anything, like, I'd rather just go out, like, I just want to distract myself. And I'm like, friend, like, you need to be there for your family, like, you can't be like that. She just wouldn't understand, and she wouldn't want to take the advice, because I don't know what was going on with you. I really
Honestly,
don't know.
At that moment, like, I really just didn't want to be around that. Like, I just was not ready to actually accept the fact that, like, my grandpa actually passed away. And then with everybody being at the house, like, everybody, like, from my primas came from Colorado, and then my tias coming from Riverside and stuff. It's just, like, I feel like it's just so much, and it was just so overwhelming that I just couldn't, like,
and not only that, at the moment, Irma was really firm on, I'm not religious. I'm not a religious person.
And that's
I'm
where
not
it
a religious
goes back
person.
to me saying, like, you know, that's the thing that I do regret, as I mentioned in the previous episode, that was so stuck in my head that I didn't see the other side of, okay, you could respect at least going, but at least do it for yourself, to grieve and to mourn, and just, like, be there for your family. Exactly. And that's the thing where it just didn't captivate in my head. And I don't know if it was just because I just really wasn't fully there. Honestly, I don't know. I just feel like I'm just in a whole world of, like, I can't accept reality sometimes. I feel like, to be honest, I feel like that's what it is. Like, sometimes I'm just so stuck in, like, my own world that, like, I really don't think of the outside world. I don't think of the reality. Like, I'm just walking on air, to be honest. I don't know, it's just weird to say, but I guess I'm just derealization. I don't know what it was, but that's what was going on at that time, that I just couldn't process it, honestly.
Yeah, and respectfully, like, you guys think that we keep Irma in a cage or something?
No, bitch. I choose to be there. If anything, I'm always like, hey, what are you guys doing? Or is it cool if I come over tomorrow or whatever? And
we don't mind Irma's company, but I also don't want you guys to think that Irma's with us 24/7, that we don't let her see her family.
No, not at all.
We actually
That's
tried
what
to
I
push
choose
Irma
to.
away.
No, but if anything, we've actually had this conversation. We mentioned it before that you have set boundaries también of like, hey, me and my man, we're gonna do this if you don't mind. Like, we're gonna have a day.
And not only that, Irma has also seen my relationship with my siblings and my family, and also Irma has seen the relationship with Alan's family, and we have really good relationships with our family, but Irma doesn't, and we always try to push her to be like, friend, go do this with your family, go do this with your sister, go do this with that.
And that's the thing, it just feels awkward.
Yeah, and Irma's just awkward, and like I said, like Irma,
I'm not the only one that's awkward. It's my whole family that's awkward. They don't know how to fucking socialize or to even like communicate. So it just like it makes it harder on me, and I don't like that. Like it's just like it's kind of annoying, to be honest.
Well, anyways, I'm like, not the waterworks. We were literally gonna put a comment of like, oh, this is actually the comment that I was gonna do. The first, might as well. They were like, Carly Carden 1034. Danny rolling his eyes at Irma is so disrespectful. I doubt he would roll his eyes at Alan when he's crying about his grandpa. Danny is full of himself and gives the worst advice.
Well, you commenting is the worst advice.
And first of all, girl, Irma be crying all the goddamn time.
I'm an emotional bird.
Sometimes when Irma cries, I get caught into surprise, just like right now. Like, I didn't know she was gonna cry. We even cut a moment where like I was like going like this, because I was I didn't know what to do, girl. Like nothing I do is always hateful. Like, you guys make me seem like I'm such a hateful person towards Irma. Now that we're like on this
little
train
path of toxicity,
with the people that are in the comments, I'm gonna go down the rest of the comments that I thought were very eye-catching, that were about me. This is from Mimilicious 02. Try to support you guys, but I love Alan. But it's difficult to get through an episode. It's literally the Danny show. Sour Patch Mel. I would never take advice from Danny. Sorry, Pookie. Irma's family relationships are so tough, especially when attitudes and personalities crash. The best you can do is communicate and set boundaries and love your family. You don't have to be so harsh or cause friction, but you do have the duty to protect your feelings and peace. Sometimes we just gotta accept people as they are and trust the process. None of us are perfect, and I'm sure your siblings got their own stuff going on. It's never too late to build the relationship you want with your family, so you don't have regrets. ETA. I just watched Danny call Irma's parents old, like really old, almost pushing 60. Baboso malcriado Danny. Not all females had kids young as fuck like your mom did. Irma, you better get up and not let this baboso talk down on your parents or your family. Ew.
Bitch, how you guys want me to react? What the fuck? You guys are honestly no, honestly, it's fucking ridiculous. It's so fucking annoying.
I just want to say, I want to first apologize, because I feel like the way that I had said like to Irma that your parents are really, really old and they're pushing 60. I'm apologizing for the way that I said it. I'm not apologizing for what I said.
No, 100%. And let me put my input into this, because at the end of the day, I knew that he didn't mean it in that harsh way. And if I really took it that way, it wouldn't be in there, and I would have been making a bigger deal out of it. So go on.
And to like continue with that conversation, like, I didn't mean it in any harsh way to attack anybody. I'm a very expressive person, and I'm not everyone's cup of tea, and I completely understand that. Like, but I'm just very expressive. Like, I know that 60 isn't like super old, but let's also not disregard the fact that 60 is old. Like, you only have, let's say, maybe like 10, 15, pushing 20 more years to life. Not, some people don't even make it to 70. Some people don't even make it to 80 because of their health issues and all that stuff. So just knowing that you already are 50 years old and that's already more than half your life, it scares me as well, because that to me, that's old.
Yeah, and it is. It's hard to accept,
it's hard to accept. You are old. Like, I understand that maybe I shouldn't have said it in the way that I would have said it, but I still stand the fact that 60 is old, because you're already starting to have like health problems. You're already starting to not be able to walk stairs. Like, it's inevitable. It's nothing bad. Like, being older is beautiful. A lot of people don't have have the privilege to live that old. Like, there's a lot of people that die young because of X, Y, and Z reasons, you know? So when I had said that comment, I didn't mean it in a shady way. I'm just a very expressive person, and sometimes I just don't know how to say things. Even though it wasn't the way that I wanted to say it, I know that the way it came off was not correctly. So that's all I'm gonna say about it. Like, I know that I should express myself correctly, and I should think twice before I say the things. But like I said, you guys, I'm not a very serious person. So whenever I say things, don't take anything seriously, because it doesn't come with any hate or malintenciones. Like, I'm literally just having a conversation with my friend. Like, I'm sure if you guys have conversations with your friend, van a decir cosas that you guys are not supposed to, or you just express yourself in a certain way. One thing that I will say, and something that me and Irma had talked about, is we are not gonna let you guys bash us like that.
No, honestly.
We're not gonna let you guys degrade us in any way and use hateful words in our comment section.
And for the stupidest shit too.
And for the dumbest things too. Like, there's one thing of having an opinion, and there's one thing of having an opinion and attacking another person because you're feel attacked.
Yeah.
You have every right to your opinion, but you also have every right to be respectful about your opinion. Yeah, like, I have opinions, and sometimes I just don't know how to express those feelings, but I don't mean it with any hate. I don't mean it with any malintención. I mean it with, like, the way that I see it is, at that moment, Irma's parents are way older than my mom is. My mom is barely 41, girl. Like, my mom isn't that much older than Irma's parents. But I also put myself in a perspective of, like, damn, that's 20 years of a difference. And 20 years of a difference is a lot. It's a huge. If my mom starts getting, like, gray hair, and I see, like my mom is starting to, like, get to a point where, like, oh, my mom is starting to need of me little by little, I'm gonna be there for my family. And not only that, like, my mom doesn't have that much to live. I don't know how long it's going to take her to still be in this world. Like, I'm going to take advantage. And for the people that are saying also, oh, like, why are you going to wait to build a relationship with your mom at 50? Like, that's not what I meant. I have a great relationship with my mom now. But when she starts needing of me, I'm, of course, just like anybody else, I'm gonna go to my mom's house and be there more frequently, because I know after a certain age,
she's gonna need help.
She's gonna need help. And then not only that, like, a lot of other family members, some people hit Alzheimer's at 60. Some people start getting a lot more health issues during those ages. And it's just like, you want to remember the last couple of memories that you have with your parents. And that's why I always tell Irma, go with your family. Irma, go spend time with your mom. Irma, go spend time with your dad. Irma, go do this. Irma, go do that. If she takes my advice, she can take it. If she doesn't, I'm not going to keep repeating the exact same thing. That's not my family. I build my relationship with my family. All I can do is tell Irma what to do and try to show her some compassion and love with her family, because, like, she said it before in the podcast, her family doesn't even know how to express love within each other. And that's why I always tell Irma, friend, go tell them that you love them. Sometimes there's even times where I see that Irma's on the phone and I don't even see her say I love you to her brothers, and now she's doing it, of course, because I've told her, show some love, so show some compassion to your family. Like,
that's the reason, like, now I say I love you, or like do little things, because Danny basically has shown me, like, that route, or like how to express it. So I feel like with those steps definitely did help a lot, but now I need to put input more of, like, actually being there for my parents, because you're right, when you get to that point, you know, they do end up where they can't handle certain things and they can't do certain things. So it does put a huge perspective in my mind. It's just, you know, putting that motive and putting that into action and actually doing something about it.
You guys on the comment section are just so toxic and, like, so disrespectful. Like, I never see myself going on someone's channel or even someone's Instagram and degrading them like that, or talking shit about them like that. If I have an opinion, I'm gonna say my opinion, but I'm also not gonna attack you, girl. Like, there's no need for any of that.
And that's where, like, it goes back to the reason why we have this podcast. We're here to be comfortable with you guys. We're here to be us.
And
literally.
And I know I'm not everyone's cup of tea, but girl, go drink some water. Go drink some soda. Like, girl, you can change your drink, and you can also have an opinion on it, but you're not gonna be like, fuck that tea, stupid ass fucking tea. It's so fucking disgusting, ugly ass bitch. Like,
that's just, it gets ridiculous. It really does get ridiculous.
Like, girl, go serve yourself another cup of coffee, girl.
Yeah, like, it gets to the point where it's kind of like, now we kind of have to watch what we're actually going to say. Now we have to watch how we express things. We have to watch about this. What if people are going to say this? What if that? What if that? Like, it's literally getting to that point where we literally have to watch what the fuck we're saying.
Anyways, y'all, so that's my whole thing. If you take anything up the ass, like, take dick instead. girl. Like, you
need it. I forgot to bring this up too. I was on live this morning and someone had to bring up like, oh, how do you feel about Danny calling your parents old and low-key? I went off because it was kind of so annoying how people really do bring that little shit up. And it's like, if I didn't take any offense to it and if I didn't accept it or anything, I would have told him shit and it wouldn't even be part of the video. At the end of the day, we both edit it and we both know what we said and we know that we don't mean it in malintenciones. So at the end of the day, I feel like you guys just need to like take a chill pill, whoever's commenting negatively and stuff, because at the end of the day, if that's what it's going to be, then honestly, I don't think this podcast is going to be made for you at all, to be honest. That's where you could just dip and see you later, honey. We don't need that energy. And of course, we do see the positive people like being like, you guys are fucking crazy. You guys this and this and this and that. So props to y'all for, you know, being there and understanding where we're coming from. So I appreciate you guys so much. But of course, I'm a little thirsty.
I'm thirsty too, girl. I feel like it's so hot in here. Like, I'm not gonna lie, but I feel like I'm also wearing like a long sleeve. So
yeah, you're wearing a long sleeve. You're a little psycho.
But let's jump right into Sip of the Week. Now, somebody did comment down below a recommendation that we should try, and it is Roxy Hernandez 6359. 7 Leaves Vietnamese coffee is the best.
Girl.
And that's exactly what we got.
Literally,
and we got it with boba.
We love boba. It may be a little weird for some of y'all, but this here is bomb. It has the sea cold foam, I guess.
Oh, it's called sea cream.
Sea cream cold foam. And yeah, so I always end up mixing it up just because I want.
I don't. I like the sea weed foam at the end and then lick it.
You like to save that?
Yeah. It's one of my favorite parts to do. I haven't had 7 Leaves since I worked at T-Mobile. Yeah, dude.
This was our crack.
Yeah, it was our crack. It's because, girl, we had to be up on our feet for so long. We had to talk to customers, have like a right think of mind.
You need energy, honey.
Yeah, you need energy.
And sometimes you wouldn't even have time to eat, and all you have is just coffee, and that's what's going to keep you going, to be honest. So.
I personally liked my job, so I didn't like to take lunches or breaks because, of course, like I had like customers.
You had more commission.
Yeah, like I had more commission. Yeah. So I always try to grab whatever customer I could.
Nah,
so
bitch.
7 Leaves was definitely my breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
I just drank the 7 Leaves because I just had the energy to even just be at work. I would say it was an iffy job experience because it was great, you know. Yeah, I talked to customers, I got to know new people and everything, chit chat with them. But sometimes it gets to a point where I'm like, girl, I do not want to deal with fucking like stupid people, because there is like, not trying to be like shady or anything, but there's stupid shit that people be asking. It's like, girl, it's so obvious. Like, I don't have the time and energy for this. And since like you're more of a like commission based, you were really going off that. I was not more of a salesperson, because if you guys really think about it, to do sales, you have to kind of manipulate the person to get stuff. That's literally how it is. Like,
I'm like my trick.
You're like my mind trick. No, but honestly, you really do. And like, I just personally would have too much empathy and too much like, oh no, it's okay, you can't afford it. Oh no, your bill's already high enough. Like, that would be too much in my mind, that I'm like, girl, I'm not worried about if I make my numbers or anything. Like, I'm here to help you out. But there's more moments where I'm like, oh my God, I don't even want to be here. So this is my little booster for at least aguantando to be there. You know, talking about work and like, you know, meeting new people. I still struggle with that, because how about how I'm still fucking single? This is what, 25 years of me. Well, actually not 25, because who the fuck is gonna date me at fucking 10? But I would say probably a good age to start dating is probably like 16, 17, I would say. And that's like 10 years of no dating or anything, or nobody interested. I've only had little sneaker links, but that's pretty much it. And I would say I probably did have like one person that I did date and like had a little thing with, and that was the time that I think me and Alan and Danny weren't talking at the time, so it was just very like, you know, I don't even know what I would consider it, but to me it's still astonishing that I'm still single. I don't feel bad about it, but at the same time I do, because I wonder, I'm like, am I the problem? Am I the prob? Like, what do I have going on? Nothing. But I don't know, how do you feel about me like still being single, friend? Like, what's your like input into that?
I feel like, well, live your best life. Shit, like, you're single now, might as well have a great time. And then
Because-
when you're older, fuck it, get a guy. Like, but also don't wait until you're like
50.
until you're old.
Daniel Allen always tells me, like, bitch, you're single right now. Live your best life. Be a fucking hoe. Why are you so afraid to go out and go out clubbing? Go make out with the guy. Go do your thing. Like, you have nobody that has you, like, on a leash. Like, I'm not saying that every relationship is like that, but realistically, out of respects in a relationship, there's certain things you don't really do when you're in a relationship. So I guess I just need to be more of a bird out there and just fucking, like, start doing shit and live a single fucking life or something. Fucking to go on a road trip with myself. Shit. I don't know what.
I mean, there's nothing wrong. She doesn't have to get a man either. I've told her, I was like, fuck it, go get a sugar daddy, go to the boats, go to Newport, like go get one of them. Like, you're single, you have nothing like attached to you. Like, just go get a man with money. And if you don't want to do that, then go get it like checked up.
Be like, go do something, girl, because something's not right. But I will agree on like where you could find the bait for sugar daddies. Not the bait, but you could just go to those fancy hotels that has those like fancy bars, and you just sit there and just enjoy your little bebita and just wait until somebody comes up, or you just look around to see who's eyeing you, and then when you'll make your little flirty week. See, I already know the play. I already know what I gotta do, but it's just like la maña que tengo. I don't want to put that energy out there, you know, but money just comes and goes, so I guess I could find it a way to come.
Yeah, but I mean, hey, like being single for you was just fun until it lasts, you know. But
yeah,
I mean, the good thing is, like, do you have an idea of like what type of relationship you want to be in?
I don't want a toxic one, that's for sure. But yeah, I'm probably the toxic one, to be honest. What I for sure wouldn't want, I will say, as like someone who's very controlling, I guess. That's something that I learned, pues, from the guy that I dated, quote unquote, because it was very like, I'm so gullible, bitch. Like, I'm so easily manipulated. Like, dude, literally each time he'll be like, oh, are you gonna come over here and like pay for my food? Are you really gonna leave me here and not like help me pay for it? This and this and this and that. And of course I would feel so bad. I'm like, oh no, I'll go for you. Like, what the fuck? Like, it's so embarrassing and cringy to even say that, but it's like, I feel like that's one thing. And then also what I wouldn't want is someone that's just fucking like gonna tell me what the fuck I can and cannot wear. I feel like that's a huge thing too. If you're telling me what I can and cannot wear, that's an issue, because if I've always dressed like that and you're telling me to change after, that does not make fucking sense. And then I guess I'm putting out a whole list, but I guess another thing too is a man to change their mind at the end of the day, that if they want kids at the end. Because if I'm starting a relationship and I'm saying like, hey, I don't want kids, I don't want anything, or they're on the same boat 100%, and then years later they're like, hey, what about actually having a kid? Did I just waste all these years after I said that I don't want a kid? Maybe I'm not gonna say I'm gonna keep a closed mind, and I might not change my mind of wanting to have kids. Maybe that could change my mind, and there's nothing wrong with that, but that's something to for sure think about. And it's just like, when I see these like relationship aspects and everything, like, it doesn't leave a nice taste in my mouth, to be honest. I will say, I don't think relationships are just made for me. To be honest, I don't know. Going on with even being single, at the end of the day, the reason why I don't have a man is just like, I just choose not to. And then why the fuck am I even gonna have a man if I barely have shit set for myself? Like, I still live with my parents. Like, how about how I still live with my fucking parents? People tell me like, oh, don't see it as a negative way, oh, see it as a positive, which I totally see. I totally get it. 100% I'm saving more money. People tell me like I didn't move out until like I was 28, 30, bitch, I'm 25, I'm almost there. But it just sucks because I'm pretty sure these people hardly have their own room. I don't have my own room. I'm here sharing a fucking room with 2 other siblings. It's embarrassing. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I low-key was even iffy of wanting to talk about it on the podcast too, because I'm like, dude, it's kind of embarrassing. Like, I'm literally there with my parents and sharing a room with 2 people. How is that okay? What kind of mentality do I have? I don't know. Maybe a fucking childish one. I don't know. I guess I haven't pushed that motive to actually move out since I'm still fucking stuck there and shit. I guess I just have a lot of things to figure out. The time is ticking, and you know, I just need to do something about it. That's just what I gotta say. You know, it fucking sucks, but I just really do have to put my pilas on and do something about it.
How about how it was literally Father's Day like last week. Dude, I literally always forget about it. Father's Day siempre se me pasa. And the only reason why se me pasa is because I don't really celebrate Father's Day like that. I only celebrate it because of my stepdad. I do it because, like, of course I love him and, like, he was kind to us and he always provided. So he was like a second dad to me. I did, like, when I was younger, I don't even remember celebrating with my dad at the time. Like, it was just something that, like, I don't think nunca me nació to want to do anything with him because of just everything that he had done. So we just kind of started celebrating my mom when she was single, because my mom was my dad at the time. Like, she would help me with absolutely everything. And she literally would help me how to shave, how to clean my... Like, she would literally do everything and be like, do hygiene. And she even had, like, the sex talk with me. So my mom was definitely, like, my second dad to me, especially being single for so long. She had no other choice but to be my dad as well. But then my stepdad started coming along. And I feel like my mom always thinks that, oh, I have such a hard time because of Father's Day is coming up. But I really don't, because I already know my place, who my dad really is. And it's, of course, Lise. Like, even now, if my stepdad ends up, like, leaving my mom or for whatever reason, like, I know for a fact he will always be my stepdad and I will always respect him because of Noah. Like, there's nothing that I can ever think about him in a bad way. Like, he is an actual, like, dad. Like, he always wanted to be a dad and he always wanted to be a father figure, and he did that. And he was young as fuck when he had to take care of 2 other kids that weren't his. So for sure he was such a dad figure from the very beginning, and he always respected my mom as being a mother, and he always respected the fact that she put us first other than anybody else. That's why I feel like Father's Day is not as hard anymore. But of course, when I was younger, it was just something that I never really wrapped my brain around, because, like, I'm like, oh, celebrate my dad. Like, girl, like, why would I celebrate him? He can't even come celebrate my birthday. It was just definitely something that was so different to me. But now I moved on from it, and now I don't even think twice about who I need to celebrate or anything like that. I don't even cry, girl. There's no point of me doing any of that. I'm just trying to, like, live my best life and try to have a good time with my current dad, which is Lise. And everyone is saying, like, Liz, like Lis. It's Lise with a Z, Lisandro. That's his first name, just so nobody's confused out there. But another person that's also celebrating Father's Day is Christian Nodal. Soy fan de tu relación.
Voy a ser tía.
Voy a ser tía. Voy a ser tía. Voy a ser tía. Voy a ser tía. Nah, dude, if you guys have been all over TikTok and, like, the Mexican side of TikTok and, like, the artists of, like, Latinos and stuff like that, because, you know, everyone's For You page is different. If you guys haven't seen it, that has been one of my favorite teas to talk about. Let's just talk about it a little bit.
Yeah.
So let's just give you guys kind of like the backstory of how it all happened. So I guess Angela Aguilar had a song with Christian, and
it's a popular song.
Yeah, it's a really popular song, and they had speculations that they were, like, dating or, like, had a thing, but she was underage at the time.
She was 16 and
Yeah.
he was like 21.
Yeah. So it had nothing, and I feel like there was also interviews where she was like, pues nada que ver, like, we're not together. But I guess they ended up building a relationship backstage, girl, and they had announced that they were together.
But they were basically having, like, this whole supposedly fling going on behind his ex now
that is currently pregnant.
Literally, and that was Angelica's BFF. So for her even to, like, mention, like, oh my god, voy a ser tía, like, being, like, all happy for them and shit, she out here stealing men. But can I say this, though? It's just crazy how when roles are switched, I'm not saying that it's right for her to do that. Everybody's just attacking her. Like, why aren't they just attacking her? And I'm pretty sure they are, but if the roles were reversed and it was some male celebrity and they did the exact same thing, they wouldn't be getting this kind of craze or this kind of, like, energy that are giving to Angelica. Like, she, yes, you know, as I mentioned, I'm not saying I'm defending her or anything, but it's just crazy how people like to pick and choose what they want to attack. So when a female does it in that route and they play the men game, it's like a whole different situation. It's horrible because people are literally bashing her so fucking bad.
And
dude.
I mean, I'm not gonna say, like, oh shit, go bash her.
No,
I don't think it's
no.
correct. Like, you guys are fucking chismosos. Like I said, everyone has a right to an opinion, but you don't need to be bashing others to have your opinion.
Yeah.
And like with that whole situation, yeah, maybe Angela Aguilar shouldn't have have done that, especially
100%.
knowing that there was a baby on the way. But also, Christian shouldn't have done the exact same thing and been fooling around with another fucking girl
Yes.
while his whole ass baby mama is pregnant.
Yeah.
Like, and that's what bugs me also too, is like, yeah, Angela Aguilar is getting a lot of the hate, but Christian deserves absolutely all of it.
Yeah,
because
dude.
he is the man that has the woman at home. Angelica Aguilar, like, she was single, no tenía nada, like, she was just, you know,
Doing
playing
her.
the love game. Uno nunca sabe, fucking Christian la enamoró, and he was so charismatic.
Because
And
men be doing that.
men
like
are manipulative, girl,
behind
to
the
get what they
scene-
want.
Yes, behind the scenes normally. Well, I'm saying normally because it's what I see, obviously. But men, whenever their wives are pregnant or anything, they always have this nerve to like go behind their back and go fuck somebody else or talk to somebody else on the low or anything. And it's so sad because you're here having a child with the woman that you're gonna possibly hopefully say the rest of your life and saying that I love her, you're my whole life, you're my light, todo esto, and then you're out here being a little whore. Like, that make sense.
Yeah, and then not only that, pobrecito el bebé, like, when he grows up, like, no matter what, he's gonna
be known
know that this happened, y pues el niño nada que ver, o la niña nada que ver, like,
Yeah.
no saben, like, and, like, that's so, I just think it's really fucked up.
fucked up.
It's fucked up on both ends. They shouldn't have done it. She knew that he had a baby on the way, and he knew that he had a baby on the way.
Yeah.
So they both fucked up, and they're both bad people. At the end of the day, it's not pick and choose, honey. Let's not say they're both
In the wrong.
motherfucking in the wrong.
They're both in the wrong. So, también, supposedly there's like rumors that Angelica is fucking pregnant, and that supposedly that they got married in Italy. I don't know if I still believe that,
Girl,
to be honest.
so
I
much
don't
drama
know.
with that family. But you guys, like I said, let's not like. They're crazy. I don't even know why they act like this.
It's cringe.
It's cringe, not gonna lie.
So
Like, who
gross,
does that?
man.
Like, I always put myself in the perspective of like, if I was a friend.
Yeah.
If I was a friend, what would I have said to you?
Like,
And
I wonder
what
what the ex is going through.
Oh, dude, I hope that bitch gets revenge.
I hope she gets like good child support.
Wait, I think they already left each
I
other,
think
no?
they already left each other, but like, girl,
I
you
hope she never
know.
goes back.
Oh
I
my
hope she gets a
God.
bomber, batter, a guy that treats her 20 times better, a guy that takes care of his child 20 times better than him.
Yep.
It's what he deserves. It's his karma, girl. I'm so sorry for you. You fucked up. You get
fucked
what
up,
you deserve, mija. So enough about like the baby and the Angela Aguilar and the Christian motherfucker.
The
But
drama.
we wanted to bring up this topic this week because I feel like it's super important. Just kind of like for all of my older siblings out there. There's a lot of older siblings out there that just don't like to speak their mind and like don't want to say how they feel. And sometimes, as me being an older sibling, I like to swallow a lot of my words because
It's just the confrontation that you don't want.
yeah, it's just like the confrontation. Like, I'm the older sibling, so like, of course, I don't know the right from wrong.
Yeah.
So it's always a learning lesson for me. I feel like it just really depends on how you grow up. But just me, myself being the sibling, just coming back from like the last episode when Irma had talked to her mom about having boundaries and not having her be a mom to her little sister because, of course, you know, you wanted to be a child and all that, and that's
Yeah.
great that you had that boundary set with her. I feel like when I was younger, I had to always take care of my sister. Like, I always had to take care of Ashley because my mom was working or my dad was doing whatever the fuck he had to do, and you know, it was always mainly just me and Ashley. So anything that Ashley had gone through, like, no, I would just protect her. Like, I would be her protecting, and I would always get the worst of everything.
And that's why I feel like she grew up very like not knowing much like the harsh things that you actually went through as a kid, because she never really saw that. You basically kind of just masked that everything was okay. you know?
Yeah. And I feel like I pushed myself so hard to do better that I just didn't know better. I am pretty much the pioneer, girl. I was the one that had to figure out everything. And if I didn't do it right, I take that fucking fall and then I have to do it again and I have to do it again. Like, I feel like being an older sibling, that's what it is. Why is it that I have to do absolutely everything for everyone to learn? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Like, why do you have to learn it and then pass it down to them and then they have it easy?
And then they have it easy. Exactly. So, like, for example, like when I had my credit, of course, like my credit, nobody really knew about credit in a Latino household. My mom herself, she was scared of having a credit card because she would just think like, oh, ¿pa qué deber deuda si podemos pagarlo? You know, like, no, there's no point of having a credit card and stuff like that. So I never got taught that. And as soon as I turned 18, that's the first thing I wanted to learn was credit. But I did it in such a wrong way because I didn't ask for help because there was nobody to help me other than like other people. But I feel like I was so embarrassed with wanting to learn that stuff. And some people are very gatekeepers about credit when it's like, girl, like just we're all in this together. Like you're not better than me. I'm not better than you. Like we're just trying to learn. And everyone always gave me that attitude. Like, oh, pues figure it out. Oh, yo ya lo hice and stuff like that. I always had to figure everything out. With that being said, with the whole credit situation, when I turned 18, I got my credit. My credit was good for a while. And then I just got so carried away with the lifestyle that I wanted to afford the lifestyle. And then I started taking out credit cards left and right. And I'm sure this is the exact same way with you. Like I just didn't know how credit worked. So I was like, all right, I'll pay it back. Like, and if I don't pay it back, like what's going to happen? Like, I took everything. And now as me being an older sibling, but just kind of also being like the pioneer of my family as well, I was the one that told my mom, get a credit card. Like, you'll be fine. I'll show you how to use it. This is how it works. I did the exact same thing with my stepdad. I was like, Lise, go get a credit card. You guys need to start your credit because of this, and that. And then, when Ashley turned 18, I was like, sister, you need to get a credit. You're only allowed to get one credit card. You're not supposed to pass like this budget. Like, I literally taught them all correctly. Now my entire family, besides me, has good credit. And I know that I fucked up.
You took the L basically for your family.
Exactly. But it just goes to show that as an older sibling, you will always have to live and learn. They always are like, oh, pues él lo puede hacer él solo porque he es mayor. Él sabe. Or porque es mayor, él puede hacer esto, puede hacer el otro. And it's like, that's not the case. Just because I'm older doesn't mean I know everything. I still need help. What made you think that I don't need help? Not being able to ask questions or feel comfortable to talk about certain things because, you know, you're supposed to know because you're the older sibling, if that makes sense. And I know, like with you, for example, it's a little different because you're the second oldest, but you're the girl that's the oldest
daughter. Literally, I basically had responsibilities as if I was the oldest because I'm not going to sit here and, you know, take it that my older brother honestly was never really there as a brother. Like, that's why I don't really communicate with him or talk to him because I felt like he was never there. So being the oldest daughter, honestly, I feel like I had so much in my hands of like, hey, I need you to show me this. Hey, I need you to do this. Hey, I need you to translate this for me. Hey, I need you to take care of my sister. Like, I get it. My mom needs help. 100 understandable, but this is how I see it. When I wasn't born or anything, how did you guys do it? You guys were able to push through and figure things out. But now that I'm here and I could help you out a lot. I could help you out with for sure, like translating English. But sometimes, like when you're trying to translate in English in the mail, like it's not the same thing, honey. Like it's so fucking hard, and especially when you're trying to interpret it correctly, because you're like, I don't know what the fuck this means. I don't know what this goes. I don't know what this and this.
And you're a child. You're all a child.
I'm a kid. Like I barely know. So it's kind of like when you're the oldest sibling and your parents are also like trying to learn, it's hard to grasp onto that because I'm learning the same way as my parents.
Yeah, I feel like definitely what it is like you said about immigrant parents, learning how to navigate the world with immigrant parents that don't know how to is so much more difficult because you as like the firstborn have to take all of the heat that your parents are barely learning. For example, like when my mom, when she wouldn't have a job or she had problems with my dad at the time or she had problems with herself, I had to take all that in because my mom had nobody else to talk to. Yeah, me and my mom built off this great relationship with her and me talking about certain things that she was going through, but at the same time, like I wish I didn't know some of these things because I'm a child. Like I should have been protected from all these things instead of having to learn with a whole teenager or a barely an adult when I'm almost 6 years old. You know, does that make sense? I don't know how to explain myself.
No, it makes sense. But it just sucks being the older sibling because you're literally like the leader. Like they look up to you. And that's the thing that like you try your best to do the best for your siblings, for your mom and everything, but you can't always learn everything and expect to like just let you guys know immediately how it works. Like, you still have to discover how to do it yourself. You still have to figure out how you have to do this, how you have to do that. And the same way how I have to figure it out, or you have to figure out how to learn these things, it's easy how they could figure it out themselves. They could learn for themselves. Like, for example, I mean, I guess my mom did take a little initiative, at least from learning English, which is great. You know, she took us to the classes, but I feel like that's the point where she was like, okay, like, I kind of do need to learn English. I can't depend on my daughter to keep translating for me, or my kids to keep translating for me, because obviously, you know, like, we barely understand shit. We barely understand what these envelopes, what these letters are even saying. At least a great thing my mom understands at that point, like, okay, my daughter can't be taking care of my sister. My daughter can't be always translating me. But at the end of the day, I feel like older siblings always has it hard because the family is very dependent on the older sibling.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like a lot of families need to like stop putting so much pressure on the older sibling, because any type of mistake that they do, they make it such a bigger deal. Like, for example, like with me, like if I end up doing something that they have never done and I end up making a mistake, it's like, oh shit, Danny made a mistake. They did this. Like, he shouldn't have done it right. Like, not all this shit. When it's like, realistically, like, I'm still learning from it. Like, why couldn't you do it first? Like, why am I taking all the mistakes, and why are you just taking all my mistakes and learning from it and just having it easy? When realistically, you can go out in the world and deal with it yourself and learn from it as well. I don't mind helping my sister getting her first apartment because I want her to do it right. But then again, it's kind of like, well, I did it by myself. Nobody went to go help me to go get an apartment. Like, I went to go to all the schedulings by myself.
You're the resource.
With Alan. I was the one that was trying to figure out my bills. I was the one that tried to figure out all that. And then they'll be like, oh, how do you do this? How do you do that? Just the exact same way of how I learned how to finance a car. Then my family ended up learning how to finance a car because I was the one that told them, oh, it's super easy. Like, you don't have to worry about it. Like, no. The one thing that I always hate is when middle siblings, or like the middle child, always, oh, everyone hates me. Oh, I'm such a hated sibling. Like, nobody loves me. And I'm like, girl, like, that's not even true. Like, if anything, if you are the middle child, your older sibling is the one that's taking all the hits for you.
Yeah.
And you are the one that doesn't have the pressure of having to do everything correctly the first time because everyone's watching you. When the middle sibling always says like, oh, it's because nobody loves you or they don't do this for me, it's like, we do it all for them because we don't want that middle sibling to go through the exact same things that we went through. We want them to go through it easy. And you kind of have to have more compassion for your older sibling because you don't know what they have taken the hit for. Like when my dad would regañarnos, I would always be like, oh, don't tell Ashley anything. Like, I'm so sorry. It was my fault. Like, all the time. Like, always. Like, don't tell Ashley. Don't tell Ashley.
You would take the bullet.
Like, I would always take the hit for it. Like, and Ashley doesn't realize that. Now she does realize it, but it's like iffy, you know? But even now, like when I try to do things with caring and understanding, they're like, oh, well, you're just doing it because you're just trying to make me do something and you're just trying to control me. Like, let me do it by myself. And it's like, girl, nobody's trying to control you. We're trying to help you. We're not trying to do anything. Like, I feel like the middle child syndrome, it's such a fake narrative because you choose to be like, oh, I'm not loved or nobody cares about me. Most of the time that I have seen all of the middle children or friends that I have that are like middle kids, they always are like, oh, it's because my family's so distant and they don't even talk to me or they don't even give me my time of day. And it's like, you don't give them the time of day.
Yeah.
I literally see them talking shit about, oh, my mom's this, my mom's that, like, that's why I don't want to hang out with them, that's why I don't want to do this. And it's like, girl, that's a you problem. If you really wanted to have so much love and care with your family, then go with your family. Like, go talk to your family. I feel like most of the time middle children are always like amargados because they think that the older child is more loved and the younger child is more loved, but it's not even like that. Like,
it's all in your head.
It's all in everyone's head. Like, I don't know. It's just like being an older sibling for sure has its ups and downs. But like, I've realized now I've realized that like, I don't mind being an older sibling and having to teach my siblings how to do things correctly. But sometimes like
it's too much pressure.
It's too much pressure because they expect you to know everything. And then when you don't know it, they're like, oh, how do you not know this? Like, girl,
like,
give me a break.
Go figure it out yourself then,
like,
girl.
Go figure it out yourself. Like, I'm not Albert Einstein, girl. I don't know everything, you know?
I'm not Google.
Yeah, girl. But yeah, y'all, like, it's just, I feel like the sibling talk is definitely something that's different because everyone has their own opinions and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But that's my opinion on it. If you guys feel like I attacked middle children, like, go off, queen. Like, I'm not trying
Literally.
to mean anything, but this is just what I see and what I go off of. And that's how I feel as an older sibling. I feel like I'm always the shield. I'm always the shield. I'm always the one that has to know everything. I'm always the one that has to take the mistakes before I teach them to anybody else. And I'm okay with that because I'm okay with getting opportunities. I'm okay with living in our world. I'm okay with making mistakes. I'm okay with all of that. Imagine putting yourself in a perspective where you're not okay with that. I know it's difficult. And I know it's hard to get out of it, but you just can't depend on others. This world doesn't give us a book to learn from. Everyone has to figure it out their own way. Every single person.
I have to figure out why
Like,
my siblings are so distant. Why my siblings don't want to interact. Why my siblings this. Why my older brother was never like the older brother figure. Like, why did I have to take over that role? What was the switch of my older brother to be like, I don't want to be around that. Like, I'm just going to close off. And I feel like that was just the start of just me needing to be the older sibling. Well, I mean, it's always been like that ever since I was taking care of my siblings. It just sucks, man. It's fucking annoying. And it's just, it's a headache, to be honest. It really is.
But I'm low-key, like, over it. Like, I feel like now I'm just kind of like, oh, I'm okay with it. But I'm okay with giving them knowledge, but I'm also okay with if they get mad at me because I don't know something.
Yeah.
Because like I said, like,
it's not your fault.
It's not my fault. Like, it's not my fault. Like, I shouldn't beat myself up for something that I don't know because it's not my fault. Like, it's really not my fault. But anyways, y'all, I hope you guys enjoyed this week's episode. Before we leave, we wanted to leave you guys off with a positive affirmation. So please, for the love of God, I want to keep saying, stop being so hateful in the comments. And this is exactly why.
Nothing other people do is because of you. It's because of themselves. You bitches, you.
Don't take anything personally. It's my opinion. I'm not attacking absolutely anybody.
No,
I feel
this
like
is not to attack anyone. It's just to put you guys in a perspective of the frustration that we go to and that we have to see on the daily, which it's not the reality, which is not true.
Yeah, and then not only that, like, everyone's like, ew, Danny's so disgusting. Like, ew, that's such an ugly attitude. I'm like, ew you, first of all. For not only that, assuming there's opportunity in this podcast because we talk a lot where you can give us your opinion about certain things that we talk about. But you shouldn't bash me or Irma. I will not accept the hate for me. I will not accept the hate for Irma. Like, I don't like that. Like, we leave this podcast with a positive affirmation, and then for us to go home and be excited to edit this podcast and have this come out to you guys, and then for you guys to just
be bashing and shit like that. So
bashing us is like disgusting. Now that's ill. And now that's an ick, girl.
It is a huge ick. And to add on to that, I forgot to bring this up in the beginning, but at the end of the day, I feel like you guys just need to take a chill pill and you guys just need to fucking
Nothing is serious, girl. Like,
Nothing
our friendship
serious.
is not serious. Just because I don't catch Irma being shady with me on camera, like, doesn't mean she's not shady the exact same way that I'm shady with her. Me and Irma's friendship is exactly like that. We're both fucking shady fuckers, and there's times where Irma isn't shady here on the podcast because 50% of the time she's crying.
Yeah, literally 50%. My emotions just get the best of me, and that's the other least of my worries.
Sometimes Irma does shade me, but she doesn't do it in an expressive way like I do it. Yeah. Like, I like to be known that I'm being shady, but like Irma likes to be like, and like I catch her shade, and I was like. But you guys don't, because you guys want to picture me as like the worst possible person.
As the worst person. You guys are still stuck with that narrative. But
I'm like, girl, like, at the end of the day, the only worst people are literally the people that are commenting bad things because you have an issue. Like, how do you have an opinion on me without even knowing me? Yeah. Like, you literally see an hour of my life of me talking about my opinion and you think you know me.
Exactly.
Like, I don't even know you, and I'm not even like talking bad things about you, girl.
Exactly.
Let's move on. Like, at the end of the day, we're trying to have a great time.
Yeah, so we're just going to continue on, of course, filming this podcast and everything, and just hopefully you guys have a better understanding of what we're coming from and just the frustration that it comes to when you guys just like to say that kind of stuff. But of course, you guys, this is going to be the end of the episode. Don't forget to comment down below your favorite part or whatever you guys want to see or hear. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video to anybody who you think is going to love us, of course. And don't forget to follow us on all of my social medias at RemindTitsXO.
And call me Danny.
And then we will see you guys para la otra.
Bye. Bye.